Alright, so in this video, I'm just going to give you guys my final thoughts on visiting Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. A quick disclaimer though, I've been here twice and both times were during the summer months, which is also the most popular time. So some of these points and thoughts may be influenced by that. But anyways, let's go ahead and get into the first one. This has to be one of the most vibrant and lively cities that I've been to. Now obviously, I'm sure they have other places that are energetic and electric. But what I like about Rio's atmosphere is that it's not manufactured. It's not like they had to put up strobe lights and play loud music in order to create that sort of vibe. I mean, it's just in the culture there in general. Whether you're talking about the friendliness of the people, the beautiful landscapes, sunsets, the beach life that's there. Just all in all, the city has a ton of energy in it. And it's interesting because I had a friend who came down from Panama City, and he was saying that it's sensory overload here. I mean, just so much stimulus. Because what I just listed were all the good things. You also have to keep in mind that you have the stimulus from, having to take extra safety precautions here. Walking outside and seeing the blatant gap between the rich and the poor and all the poverty. So all in all, it's just, again, ton of stimulus. When you're walking on the beaches, you're like, ooh, you just see a whole bunch of nice things. Then you walk in the city, you're like, okay, let me keep my wits about me a little bit. And then at night, when you walk outside, the streets are packed, people are drinking, having a good time. There's no off switch. You're always on when you're out and about. Next up on the list, there are many things to do that are worth doing and worth seeing, because you have cities that may have many attractions. But if you're not interested in them, then what does it matter? And like, for example, you can go to a tourist destination and they have 100 museums. But if you're not interested in museums, then not that appealing. Or if you go to a place and they have a ton of cathedrals and churches and basilicas. But if you're not interested in those, then it doesn't really matter. When it comes to Rio, you have a little bit of it all. For example, you can go visit the very popular Christ the Redeemer, and then obviously they have amazing views from the top. You also have Sugarloaf Mountain. Again, they have restaurants at the top. You can relax and enjoy being basically on top of the world. You have the Celadon Steps, which is this world famous colorful staircase. And make sure to read a little bit about the history because it makes the visit that much more interesting. You have the beaches. What I like about Rio is that other cities, they may have one beach and everyone goes there. But Rio has a ton. So most people know Copacabana, Ipanema, but then you have Baja Beach, you have the Red Beach, and then you have some other ones that are within a 1 to 2 hour drive that most people don't talk about or know about. You can also take a tour of the historic center, which has a lot of history. The beautiful murals. There's also museums there. Like one museum that I enjoyed was the Museu da Amanhã, Tomorrow Museum. I just got done talking about the beach area, the historic area. You also have the Bohemian neighborhood that you can visit. Walk around on the cobblestone streets. That neighborhood sits on top of like a hill, so beautiful views as well. You can take a tour of the favelas to learn about how and why they were created. If you just want to get away from the hustle and bustle of the city, you have a botanical garden and then also a popular park called, I think it's Parque Lage. Basically, you can have lunch next to a mansion inside like a jungle rainforest type situation. So it's lovely. This place also has a strong fitness culture. So if you're into outdoor workouts, bike paths, running paths, taking leisurely strolls next to the lake with the views in the background. I also forgot to mention all the hikes that you can take that are within distance. You don't have to travel 3 hours for amazing views or great hikes. So all in all, I think you guys get the picture. Rio has many things to do. On the flip side of all of that, this city can be somewhat frustrating for a first timer. One reason being having your bank card declined everywhere. Now, does it happen all the time? No. You swipe or tap your card, decline. You go to an ATM to pull out cash, it doesn't work. So now you have to walk to another one and try different ATMs. This country has something called a CPF number, which is basically a Brazilian tax ID number, and certain Brazilian services may require it. Like for example, they have a food delivery app here that's very popular, has a ton of choices, but I tried using it and my bank card didn't work, and I think again you need a CPF number. When I tried to get cell phone service here, I was in another city, matter of fact, but the first place I went to, they said that I needed a CPF number. Thankfully, I went to another carrier and they allowed me to get a plan with just my passport. And lastly, if you're used to traveling to destinations where in the tourist area, a lot of people speak English, that's not really the case in Rio, in my opinion. Knowing some Portuguese can and will help out in many situations, which you can say about most countries, right? Anywhere you go, if you speak the local language, you're going to be able to express yourself better and avoid certain situations or confusions. However, if there was a ranking, Brazil would be up there on countries where it's vital to know some of the local lingo. This next point, I probably should have brought it up earlier when I was talking about, the city's vibrant and electric, but that is Rio. And I think this is how you word it, but to me, it's one of the most socially liberal places or socially liberal cities that I've been to. It kind of has the feel of, hey, as long as you're not hurting anybody, do your thing. Because when it comes to nightlife, you have everything from just the typical bars, restaurants, clubs, all the way to the underground red light stuff. It has the whole spectrum at ease. When it comes to relationships, you're gonna see people holding hands with different looks, and you're also gonna see people together with the same look, if you know what I mean. I just think this place is a single person's paradise. And when I say single person, I'm talking for men and women. If you're a guy walking through this city, you're gonna see so many beautiful things, and vice versa. If you're a female, you're gonna see a ton of Johnny Bravos. This is a place that's very touchy-feely and sensual. I also was reading online, and I believe that's one of the reasons why the Christ the Redeemer statue was created. So back in the day, there were some people from the Catholic community who were concerned about the unholiness, the ungodliness going on in the city. So they want the Christ statue to be built as a symbol of Christianity. Now, I will say from visiting Rio a few times, I don't know how much that worked, the strategy. Economically, it did. You have a lot of tourists who come and pay money to take pictures next to the statue. But as far as its intended purpose, I don't think so. And this is going to lead me to my last point, which some people, well, not a lot, but always got a few people complaining when I give my generalizations. Like, for example, when I was in Panama City, I talked about how I think that place is more suited for older individuals. Not saying if you're younger, you wouldn't have a good time, but just I think it caters more towards the older crowd. If you're looking for a major city in Latin America that has some stability, some safety, they can turn up in Panama, but it's a little bit more relaxing than some other places. That being said, Rio is the opposite, in my opinion. Can you live here and have a lifestyle where you go to a cafe, take a sip of coffee, take a leisurely stroll around the park? Definitely. But that's not its specialty. The specialty in this city, it's activity, being active, it's upbeat, it's lively. If you've been cooped up all winter in your home, you've been working overtime, triple shift, graveyard shift, and you're looking for a place to visit, to just let go, then definitely Rio fits that definition. All that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and end it right here. These were my thoughts on visiting this lovely city. I think they call it Cidade Maravilhosa, which means marvelous city. And I think so. Obviously, it has its negative points. Not everyone's gonna enjoy it, but for me, and especially my lifestyle, Rio is one of my favorite places. But again, I appreciate you guys watching. I hope you guys have found some value in the video. Hope that it's helped you. And I'll catch you guys at the next one. Deuces.